Is your reality truly yours, or is someone else writing the script? A leaked MI6 interview suggests a shocking answer, one that could shatter everything you thought you knew. The question isn't just whether you're being influenced, but whether your very thoughts and emotions are being subtly manufactured, puppeteered by unseen forces. This isn't some abstract philosophical debate. Your freedom, your authenticity, your ability to live a truly self-directed life hangs in the balance. If your mind isn't your own, can you truly claim to be free? Can you make authentic choices, pursue genuine passions, or build relationships based on real connection? The implications ripple outwards, touching every aspect of your existence, from your career aspirations to your innermost beliefs. To remain unaware is to remain a willing participant in your own intellectual imprisonment. According to this leaked interview, a clandestine network of power brokers has mastered the art of psychological influence, weaving an intricate web of control that subtly shapes your perceptions, dictates your desires, and ultimately steers the course of your life. This manipulation isn't random or accidental. It's a calculated strategy, a systematic conditioning of the masses to conform to a predetermined worldview, a designed societal structure to maintain total dominion. From the moment you begin absorbing information, you are undergoing indoctrination. The pivotal question then becomes, who is doing the indoctrinating and what is the ultimate goal? Patterns of societal compliance are not organically created. This goes beyond simple persuasion or advertising. It's about subtly rewriting the very code of your mind, implanting suggestions and beliefs that serve their agenda. You're not just being sold products. You're being sold a carefully crafted narrative, a prepackaged identity, a life lived on someone else's terms. This is why questioning the established order is not just an act of rebellion, but an act of self-preservation. Recognizing and dismantling this subtle conditioning, what some call enlightenment, is the first step towards reclaiming your mental autonomy and creating a life of purpose, meaning, and genuine joy. Consider the profound implications of this alleged mass cognitive direction. The erosion of individual liberty, the stifling of creativity and innovation, the perpetuation of societal inequalities. Are we sleepwalking into a future where our thoughts, feelings, and actions are dictated by a select few, where genuine self-expression is a distant memory, and where dissent is swiftly and silently silenced? If so, the most urgent question becomes, how do we pull ourselves back from the precipice? The transformative potential of understanding the mechanisms behind this alleged direction cannot be overstated. Knowledge becomes your most formidable weapon, awareness your impenetrable shield, and self-mastery your ultimate liberation. Once you grasp how these forces operate, you can dismantle their control, reprogram your own mind, and create a life that is aligned with your true values and aspirations. This is not simply about uncovering a conspiracy. It's about embarking on a journey of self-discovery, reclaiming your inherent power, and shaping a future where individual sovereignty is not just a dream, but a reality. But how do they do it? What are the specific methodologies and psychological leverages they employ to exert such profound direction over the human mind? Throughout history, various entities have sought to influence populations, from the subtle art of propaganda to blatant exercises in social engineering. What alleged innovations do the current power structures utilize? Subliminal messaging, advanced psychological tactics like neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, and predictive programming, all working in concert to bypass your conscious awareness and plant suggestions directly into your subconscious mind. We need to understand psychology to understand the mind, sociology to understand society, and media to understand the message. To truly grasp the extent of this alleged cognitive intrusion, we must recognize the patterns woven into the fabric of our media, our politics, and our culture. The constant barrage of fear-inducing headlines, the emotionally charged political rhetoric, the relentless promotion of consumerism and instant gratification. Are these random occurrences or carefully orchestrated strategies designed to keep us distracted, divided, and perpetually craving more? Who are these supposed unseen architects? What are the true extent of their ambitions? How far does their reach extend? And most importantly, what concrete steps can we take to dismantle their mechanisms of direction and reclaim our cognitive independence? In the upcoming segment, we will dissect the specific methods they use, including media manipulation, subliminal programming, and NLP, and we will outline precisely how you can counteract these techniques and safeguard your mind from external intrusion. Stay with us. The journey to mental liberation is only just beginning. So, how does this alleged direction actually happen? Let's start with the source of our investigation, the MI6 leak. Imagine a seasoned intelligence analyst, weary from decades spent navigating the shadows, witnessing firsthand the insidious tactics employed to manipulate entire populations. Disillusioned, conscience ablaze, they make a daring choice: to expose the truth, whatever the personal cost. The leak itself is said to have originated from a debriefing session, a routine inquiry into the effectiveness of various psychological operations. During the interview, the analyst revealed startling details about the scale and sophistication of these operations, claiming that vast resources were being poured into programs designed to subtly shape public opinion, influence political discourse, and even predict future social trends. The analyst allegedly described it as, and I quote, "a silent war for the mind, waged not with bullets or bombs, but with carefully crafted narratives and strategically deployed psychological triggers." Another chilling excerpt states, "We control the narrative. Nothing is organic anymore." Supposedly, the leaker hopes to expose a level of manipulation in society, in media, in all aspects of life, to allow people to make more informed decisions. Now, before we dive deeper, a reality check is crucial. Is this leaked interview the gospel truth? Is it 100% accurate? Perhaps. Perhaps not. The world of intelligence is shrouded in secrecy, and misinformation is often used as a weapon. So, while we present this information, it's vital to maintain a healthy dose of skepticism. However, even if this specific leak turns out to be partially or even entirely fabricated, the questions it raises are profoundly important. Can we truly trust our perceptions? Are we as free as we believe ourselves to be? The very act of questioning can begin the mind's liberation. And remember, mind control isn't just about overt manipulation. It's not always about shadowy figures pulling strings behind the scenes. More often than not, it's far more subtle and insidious. It's in the social norms we blindly accept, the cultural expectations we strive to meet, the media we consume without critical thought. It's the constant pressure to conform, to fit in, to believe what everyone else believes. These subtle influences are often far more powerful than any explicit form of manipulation. Let's delve deeper into the arsenal of control, specifically psychological tactics. Take subliminal messaging, for instance. While often dismissed as a conspiracy theory, the history of subliminal messaging is rooted in genuine scientific inquiry. Back in the 1950s, a market researcher named James Vickery claimed to have increased sales of popcorn and Coca-Cola at a movie theater by flashing messages like "Eat popcorn" and "Drink Coca-Cola" on the screen for such a brief duration that viewers were not consciously aware of seeing them. The impact of this is, shall we say, questionable, but it doesn't negate the possibility of more sophisticated methods. Today, the use of extremely short advertising with carefully crafted audio and visual triggers is alleged to exist everywhere. But are they effective? The science on subliminal perception suggests that these messages can indeed influence our behavior, particularly when they tap into pre-existing desires or motivations. So, the next time you're watching TV or browsing the internet, pay close attention. Are there subtle images or sounds embedded in the content that are designed to bypass your conscious awareness and plant suggestions in your subconscious mind? Now, let's talk about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. At its core, NLP is a model of communication and behavior that suggests we can understand and influence people's thoughts, emotions, and actions by studying their language patterns and nonverbal cues. While often used in sales and marketing, NLP techniques can also be employed for more manipulative purposes. For example, anchoring involves associating a specific emotion or feeling with a particular word, gesture, or image. By repeatedly pairing the stimulus with the desired emotional response, the manipulator can trigger that emotion at will, essentially hijacking the person's emotional state. Imagine a politician using specific phrases or gestures to evoke feelings of fear, anger, or patriotism. The possibilities are truly chilling. Consider, too, predictive programming. Think of it as a kind of psychological inoculation, where the media presents future events in fictional contexts to desensitize people to them or make them seem inevitable. By repeatedly exposing audiences to these scenarios, the manipulators can normalize them, reduce resistance, and even create a sense of inevitability. For example, movies depicting widespread surveillance, social unrest, or technological dystopias may serve to prepare the public for these realities, making them more likely to accept them when they eventually come to pass. And then there's mass surveillance, the ever-watchful eye of the digital panopticon. In today's world, our every move is tracked, analyzed, and recorded. From our social media posts to our online searches, from our credit card transactions to our location data, every aspect of our lives is being meticulously documented. This constant surveillance creates a chilling effect on free thought and expression. Knowing that you're being watched, you may be less likely to voice dissenting opinions, explore unconventional ideas, or challenge the status quo. Mass surveillance subtly shapes your behavior, limiting your choices and confining you to a narrow range of acceptable expression. Who benefits from all this? Who are the masters of this illusion? Well, whoever they are, they seem to operate according to a familiar playbook. First, deception through division. By pitting people against each other along lines of race, religion, politics, or any other arbitrary distinction, they can prevent them from uniting and challenging their power. A house divided cannot stand, and a population consumed by internal conflict is far less likely to focus on the real sources of its oppression. Think about how easily people are baited into online arguments, how quickly political discussions devolve into personal attacks. These divisions are not accidental, they are deliberately cultivated to maintain the status quo. Then there's the classic technique of fear-mongering. By constantly bombarding the public with terrifying scenarios, the manipulators can create a climate of fear and anxiety, making people more willing to accept draconian control measures in exchange for a perceived sense of security. Terrorism, pandemics, economic collapse, these are all powerful triggers that can be used to manipulate public opinion and justify the expansion of state power. What fears are most effective? The fears that tap into our most primal instincts: fear of death, fear of loss, fear of the unknown. And of course, we can't forget the power of distraction. By flooding the media with celebrity gossip, sensational news stories, and endless streams of entertainment, the manipulators can keep people from focusing on the important issues that truly affect their lives. The news becomes a constant stream of trivialities, designed to keep us entertained and distracted, while the real decisions are being made behind closed doors. It's the old strategy of bread and circuses: keep the masses fed and entertained, and they won't bother to question the system. Finally, there's economic manipulation, the subtle art of keeping people in a state of perpetual debt and dependence. By rigging the economic system to favor the wealthy and powerful, they can create a society where most people are struggling just to make ends meet, leaving them with little time or energy to challenge the status quo. The role of central banks, the manipulation of interest rates, and the creation of endless debt, these are all tools that can be used to maintain economic inequality and control the masses. But here's the good news: we're not powerless. There is a way to break these chains, to reclaim our minds, to step outside the matrix. It begins with mindfulness and meditation, simple yet powerful tools for cultivating awareness and breaking free from conditioned thought patterns. Just take a moment right now. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Focus on the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. As thoughts arise, simply observe them without judgment, letting them pass like clouds in the sky. Even a few minutes of mindfulness each day can help you to become more aware of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions, creating a space between you and your conditioned patterns. And then there's critical thinking, the ability to evaluate information objectively, identify biases, and form independent judgments. This is not just about being skeptical. It's about being discerning, about questioning everything, including your own assumptions. Learn to evaluate sources, identify logical fallacies, and challenge the narratives that are being presented to you. Develop the habit of asking questions, of seeking out diverse perspectives, and of forming your own conclusions based on evidence and reason. What's the difference between critical and creative thinking? Critical thinking analyzes and evaluates, while creative thinking generates new ideas. Be mindful of your information diet. Just as you nourish your body with healthy foods, you must also nourish your mind with healthy information. Be selective about what you consume and curate a balanced diet of diverse perspectives. Filter out the noise, the propaganda, and the emotionally charged rhetoric. Seek out sources that are reliable, objective, and committed to truth. Develop the habit of questioning everything you read, hear, and see. And don't underestimate the power of community. Connect with like-minded individuals, share information, support each other, and build collective resistance. Create alternative communities based on truth, freedom, and self-reliance. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. There are millions of people around the world who are awakening to the truth and seeking to create a better future. We're much stronger together. So let's dare to go even further beyond the surface level and ask, what is the true nature of reality? Is it possible that the world we perceive is not what it seems, that we are living in some kind of simulation? It's a mind-bending idea, but it forces us to question everything we thought we knew. If reality is a simulation, then who are the programmers? What are their motives? And how can we break free from their control? Now, I'm not saying that we definitely live in a simulation, but the very possibility should encourage us to question the nature of our existence and the forces that might be shaping it. And what about collective consciousness? Are our minds interconnected in ways that we don't fully understand? Is it possible that the elite can manipulate this collective consciousness to influence our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors on a mass scale? Consider the phenomenon of groupthink, where people suppress their own opinions and conform to the prevailing view of the group. Is it possible that this kind of conformity is being deliberately engineered on a societal level? Ultimately, the path to liberation lies in spiritual awakening, in connecting to something greater than oneself, in tapping into our intuition, our inner wisdom, and our capacity for self-knowledge. Drawing on ancient spiritual texts to provide deeper insights into the nature of the mind. References to the Kybalion, Hermetic teachings, or Gnostic texts can serve as guides along the way. Even quantum physics offers a compelling perspective. Concepts like the double-slit experiment and quantum entanglement challenge our classical understanding of reality, suggesting that the universe is far more interconnected and malleable than we previously thought. If reality is not fixed and deterministic, but rather fluid and probabilistic, then perhaps our thoughts, beliefs, and intentions have a far greater influence on the world around us than we ever imagined. Where does this all leave us? How do these abstract concepts translate into practical steps that we can take to reclaim our minds and create a better future? That's exactly what we'll be exploring in the next segment. So where does this all leave us? Let's bring it back to the beginning. Remember the alleged MI6 leak, the supposed exposure of deliberate mind control tactics. If what that analyst revealed is even partially true, it challenges the very autonomy of our individual thoughts. Think back to how you felt at the start of this video. If you felt like your thoughts and beliefs were not entirely your own, this exploration of potential manipulation might just be the key to unlocking your own mind. It's about shifting from being a passive recipient of information to an active guardian of your own mental space, capable of discerning truth from falsehood. Remember, the goal isn't paranoia, but empowerment through awareness. If they want you to feel scared, feel empowered. Now, let's connect those identified manipulation tactics: subliminal messaging, NLP, division, fear to the elites, alleged agenda of control. Consider how these patterns manifest in your everyday life. The constant barrage of negative news designed to keep you anxious and compliant. The subtle nudges in advertising designed to make you feel inadequate unless you buy the latest product. The divisive rhetoric in politics designed to keep you at odds with your neighbors. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a self-reinforcing system. The good news is you can recognize these patterns and counter them. Question the sources of information, challenge the underlying assumptions, and seek out alternative perspectives. When you recognize that the game is rigged, you can choose not to play. If you catch yourself being led by your emotions rather than your reason, take a step back and think critically. What does it really mean to reclaim your mental sovereignty? It's a multifaceted process that involves awareness, critical thinking, information dieting, and community building. It's not a one-time fix, but a cyclical journey of ongoing vigilance and self-improvement. It's about constantly questioning your beliefs, challenging your assumptions, and seeking out new information. It's about becoming more aware of your own cognitive biases and emotional triggers. It's also about connecting with like-minded individuals who can support you on your journey. Start small, maybe try a daily mindfulness practice, or challenge yourself to read news from different sources. The ultimate goal is a transformation in perspective, a shift from a limited, controlled reality to a potentially infinite, self-created one. If you can really understand that the world you perceive is not necessarily the world that is, then you can unlock a new freedom. This is where spiritual awakening and connection to collective consciousness come into play. Consider the possibility that your thoughts and intentions can influence the world around you, that you are not just a passive observer, but an active co-creator. By cultivating positive thoughts, practicing compassion, and connecting with something greater than yourself, you can unleash your full potential and help to create a better world. Remember, your mind is a powerful tool. Use it wisely. But let's not get lost in abstract concepts. How does all of this connect to broader societal and global issues? Think about political polarization, environmental destruction, and social injustice. All of these problems are fueled by manipulation and control. Reclaiming mental sovereignty is not just about personal freedom. It's essential for creating a more just and sustainable world. When we are aware of the tactics being used to divide us, we can resist them. When we are able to think critically and make informed decisions, we can create positive change. Consider how an enlightened individual can influence society. By speaking out against injustice, by supporting ethical businesses, by promoting sustainable practices, and by simply living an authentic and meaningful life. Every act of resistance, no matter how small, can make a difference. These patterns of manipulation reflect a deeper struggle between consciousness and control, freedom and tyranny, love and fear. The ability to recognize these patterns is your superpower. It allows you to see through the illusion, to resist the programming, and to choose your own path. Think about how often you encounter these patterns in the media, in politics, and in your personal relationships. The more aware you become, the more empowered you will be to make conscious choices and create a life that is aligned with your values. Understanding the nature of this war allows you to consciously choose which side you fight on. Consider the long-term implications of either succumbing to or resisting mind control. Imagine a dystopian future where individual thought is completely suppressed, where everyone is a mindless drone, blindly following the dictates of the elite. Now, imagine a utopian future where humanity has awakened to its full potential, where everyone is empowered to think for themselves, to create their own reality, and to live in harmony with each other and with the planet. The choice is ours. Will we allow ourselves to be controlled, or will we reclaim our minds and create a better future? Each of us holds a piece of the puzzle, and it's up to us to put it together. I challenge you to consider the possibility that your entire understanding of reality has been shaped by external forces. Everything you've been taught in school, everything you've seen on TV, everything you've heard from authority figures, it's all been filtered through a lens of manipulation and control. It's time to question everything, to seek your own truth, and to embrace your own path to enlightenment. Remember, the search for truth is a personal journey, and there is no one-size-fits-all answer. What resonates with one person may not resonate with another. The key is to remain open-minded, to be willing to challenge your own beliefs, and to follow your own intuition. So, what about those lingering questions and uncertainties? Is the MI6 leak real? Are the elite truly in control? Is reality a simulation? The truth is, we may never know for sure. These concepts are speculative, and it's important to remain skeptical. However, the very act of asking these questions can be transformative. It can open us up to new possibilities, challenge our assumptions, and inspire us to seek deeper understanding. Don't be afraid to question everything, but also don't be afraid to admit when you don't know. Remember that pattern recognition is your greatest asset. By becoming pattern detectives, you can actively seek out and expose manipulation tactics in your own lives and in the world around you. Notice how certain narratives are being pushed, how certain emotions are being triggered, and how certain groups are being demonized. When you see through the illusion, you can choose not to participate. You can choose to resist the programming, to challenge the status quo, and to create your own reality. Knowing what is being presented has nefarious intent allows you to see through the matrix and act accordingly. Let's revisit those initial questions we posed at the beginning of this video. Is your mind really your own? Are you being manipulated by unseen forces? The answer, as you probably suspected, is complex. While it's impossible to say for sure whether we are being deliberately controlled by some shadowy elite, it's clear that we are all subject to various forms of manipulation, from advertising and propaganda to social pressure and cultural expectations. The key is to become aware of these influences, to develop critical thinking skills, and to reclaim our mental sovereignty. Despite the potential darkness we've uncovered, I want to leave you with a sense of hope and optimism. The human spirit is resilient, and the potential for positive change is always present. Remember that you are not alone in this journey. There are millions of people around the world who are awakening to the truth and seeking to create a more just and equitable world. Be inspired by individuals and communities who are actively resisting mind control and creating a more just and equitable world. Their stories remind us that change is possible and that we all have a role to play. So, what happens when AI learns how to manipulate the human mind? Where do we go from here? These are just some of the new questions that arise as we delve deeper into this topic. I encourage you to continue exploring these themes, to seek out new information, and to challenge your own assumptions. Now that you've seen the potential problem, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to develop greater self-awareness, cultivate stronger relationships, pursue creative expression? The possibilities are endless. Share your thoughts, experiences, and insights in the comments section. Let's create a community of truth seekers who can support each other on this journey. What steps are you taking to reclaim your mind? What challenges are you facing? What successes are you celebrating? In our next video, we'll be delving deeper into the history of the elite and exploring specific mind control technologies. We'll also be sharing practical exercises for developing mental resilience. So, stay tuned and remember, the journey of awakening is just beginning, and you are not alone.